गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ध्यानमूलं गुरुमूर्ति पूजामूलं गुरुपदं मन्त्रमूलं गुरुवाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरुकृपा। शिवो गुरुः शिवो देवा शिवबन्धु शरीरिणम् शिव आत्मा शिवो जीव शिवादयन्तरकिञ्चनः। बिना सदा शिवं यो हि संसारं तरतुमेच्छति समूढो हि महापापी शिवद्वेषे न संशयः। महादेव महादेव महादेवेति यो भवे एकेन मुक्तिमाप्नोति द्वाभ्यां शम्भुरिणी भवे। वाराणस्यां भैरवो देव संसारभयनाशनम् अनेकजन्म कृतं पापं स्मरणेन विनश्यति। A very good evening to one and all present here. I welcome you all to the holy city of Varanasi, to the city of Vishwanath, to the city of Ganga, city of Bhairav, which all of you are supposed to meet for the early morning Mangala Aarti at the temple, which takes place around 3 a.m. in the morning. So just when we went to open the gates on the morning of the temple, I saw sir for the first time, and he was surrounded by 2-3 black dogs, which sir was also very joyfully embracing. And that was the first time I got an essence of the Bhairav Tattva, which is present in sir, and in many ways I am very grateful to the Almighty that I have in any way the Sharan and guidance. And since then, both our organizations, the Kashi Archan Foundation and the Kamakhya Bhairav Upasak Foundation, we have come a long way. Every month doing seva with the sankalp of Sanatan Dharma Utthan, not for any individual person. Ved Pathshala donations, supporting the Ved Pathshala students, and organizing yagnas with the special sankalp of Raksha of Sanatan Dharma, with the Utthan of Sanatan Dharma, Jagriti of Sanatan Dharma. Apart from this, also certain very significant offerings being made in our Kaal Bhairav temple. Firstly, the silver khappar, a very special pot which is dear to Bhagwan, in which the alcohol or the favorite naivedya is offered to Lord. The first episode of Khappar Seva is mentioned in our Puranas when Bhagwan Kaal Bhairav went to Vaikuntha Dham, to the place of Bhagwan Mahavishnu. After the Brahmhatya dosh, he was struggling, he was there going across the universe just to get rid of the Brahmhatya dosh. When he went to Vaikuntha Dham, Bhagwan Vishnu could from a distance observe that Sakshat Shiva Swarup has come to his place. If you observe the Swarup of Kaal Bhairavji, if you have ever went to his temple, or if you visited our temple also, if you closely observe the Swarup of Bhagwan, he is Sakshat Shiva Avatar, not just for the sake of saying, but the physical appearance also. We worship Bhagwan Shiva in the form of a Shivalinga, but Kaal Bhairav, I say, is a walking Shiva. If you observe his Swarup, Trineth, third eye is there on forehead. Chandrama is there adorned, carrying a Trishul. Ganga is flowing from Jatas and is having additionally one thing, which is a dand. Dand to both punish and reward the devotees in proportion to their punya and pap. So when Bhagwan Kaal Bhairav went to the Vaikuntha Dham, Bhagwan Vishnu could observe from a clear distance that Sakshat Shiva Avatar in all his Swarup has come to the Dham, and Bhagwan Vishnu offered his Dandavat Pranam to Bhagwan Kaal Bhairav. And Mahalakshmi Devi, the eternal consort of Bhagwan Vishnu, she offered dakshina in the khappar of Bhagwan at that time. So from that time, the khappar seva is supposed to be the highest seva to Bhagwan Kaal Bhairav, and anyone who does this seva is blessed with not only the blessings of Bhagwan Kaal Bhairav, but also Mahalakshmi Devi. This significant offering was made this year under the guidance of Sir. And just yesterday, in the Bhog Aarti, with the blessings, guidance and grace of Bhagwan, we also managed to offer a silver Sheesh Mukut and a silver Trishul to Bhagwan Kaal Bhairav, symbolic of assurity, protection, fearlessness. And it is all become possible with the guidance, with the Margdarshan of Bhagwan Mahabhairav himself. And all this, again, these offerings again have been done with the sankalp of Sanatan Dharma Raksha. This is one unique aspect which I encountered after meeting Sir. The way he combines the aspect of sadhana and seva together. Both are not very different. But the way to do the seva, if you're doing seva with the right hand, the left hand should not get to know it. And if you're doing it with what sankalp? Not for any individual person's need, greed, but for the raksha of all. For the utthan of Sanatan Dharma as itself. Dharmo rakshate rakshita. If we protect our dharma, dharma in turn will protect us. If any message we have to carry from here, it will be this. We all have our needs and aspirations. That's very natural too. But in the course of pursuing our daily, day-to-day life, if we can have some element of Sanatan Dharma Raksha or some element of Sanatan Dharma Suraksha which we can teach to our children, we don't have to go very far away. We have to make them aware of our ethos, our values, our pluralism in the best way as we can. That will be the best contribution we can do for the growth and progress of Sanatan Dharma. It's a beautiful dharma which is open for all, does not have a conversion of concept. Unfortunately, I feel in today's time, in place of promoting it and placing it to our younger generation in the right way, most often we ridicule it. We have portrayed our Santa Mahatmas, our Sadhu Sannyasis, as someone who will kidnap our children and take them away. This is something that has come to us. It's not our fault. In many cases, the parents are also unaware. And simultaneously, if we see in other dharmas or religions, then there is always this sense of teaching their children, be it as small, as minuscule as possible, some elements of dharma, some elements of their religion, which is there grounded with them. Kashi Archan Foundation has been dedicated always to connect the devotees with the Vimukta Kshetra of Kashi. Kashi was never known for Ganga Aarti. Kashi was never known for the Banarsi. Again, apologies to the ladies here. Kashi has always been the place of spiritual enhancement. When you come to Kashi, you experience that level of spiritual consciousness elevating to a different level. People have come to Kashi always for different reasons. Some came to Kashi to live, some came to Kashi to die. Someone, especially now from North India, they come to have their daily earnings or have a better livelihood opportunity. But always you wanted to come to Kashi. And Kashi has always represented that level of spiritual consciousness and elevation of that spiritual consciousness. And when we focus on the minute things rather than on the larger and broader perspective, we limit ourselves and we do not gain as much as we should from our Kashi Yatra. We have always been conscious of this fact, and this is one of the reasons we have been trying to rejuvenate and bring into public awareness some of the ancient parikrama yatras which were done in Kashi. Kashi, if you see, is a yantra. It's a beautiful yantra. It is also one of the most astrologically significant places. Any problem you have in life, Kashi has a solution for that. Kashi has a Puranic, Kashi has a Paddhati-based ritual offering, or just if you go to certain places, have dhyan, have meditation and darshan, your problem will be taken care of. So instead of going to other places, trying out different things, unfortunately in today's time, certain people go to different religious places also for their problems. Kashi, my dear friends, has a solution to all. Come and experience it lively, come and experience it with open heart. Go to the right places. There are certain parikrama yatras which were very prominent then, but today very less people are aware, and people, those who come also, and millions are coming today, But they'll go to the important places, say Kashi Vishwanath, Kaal Bhairav ji, Vishalakshi, maximum Ganga Aarti, Annapurna ji. It is beyond that. These places are significant. It is mandatory. Without going to them, your Kashi Yatra is incomplete. But make sure to also go to those certain places which have always been that spiritual center of conscious upliftment, of sadhana upliftment. There are certain places, these yatras which we have started covering, the Dwadas Jyotirling Yatra. Not many people know that all the 12 Jyotirlings are present in Varanasi. And doing the darshan of these Jyotirling in Varanasi gives you equal punya than what you would have going to the actual places to cover the darshan. In fact, at certain instances, doing the darshan of these Jyotirling in Kashi is more significant and punyadaya. According to Skanda Puran, if you go to the Kedarnath in the Himalayas, if you go there 7 times, and if you go to the Kashi Kedarnath just once, it is both supposed to be equal. Such is the massive significance. In fact, if we talk about the Puranic significance, there's been so much talked about just if you come to Kashi. The moment you leave your home in the journey for coming to Kashi, then in between the number of steps that you take, it yields you more punya than an Ashwamedh Yagna performed every single step. Such is the massive significance of just coming to Kashi. Leave apart going to darshans, leave apart performing rituals, leave apart doing anything else. Just if you come to Kashi, my dear friends, you are blessed, and I'm sure many of us who are sitting here would have come for the first time. Hence, I felt it was appropriate on my behalf as a host of Kashi to tell you about what you should not miss during the course of Kashi Yatra, when you should have an open horizon to going to places, going with the right intent, and experiencing that uplift in sadhana, spirituality, and consciousness. Just I was mentioning about the Niswarth Sankalp which we have been doing for Sanatan Dharma Raksha. I feel it is only appropriate of me to mention here that this past Ashtami, the community jap which are done for the Sankalp of Sanatan Dharma crossed 1 crore in figure marks. There is no promotion, there is no media coverage. It's a heart-to-heart connect of people with the Almighty, with the Tattva of Bhairav, with the Tattva of Shiva. And this has been increasing astronomically, like anything. I just wish and pray today that may the Lord of Time bless us all with fearlessness, with courage, with strength, with determination to protect our dharma, and with the appetite to always stand for truth, courage, and righteousness. With this, I thus rest my words, and I invite Sir to come on the podium and bless us all with his words.
Namaste to everybody. Joy Vakamakha, Joy Matara, Joy Bhairav Baba. It's a terrific occasion to be present in this very ancient and very holy and extremely auspicious city of Kashi to speak on a topic which is actually quite difficult. But thanks to Harsh for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. I have an added advantage today. Though I'm not you people may be thinking that I'm a public speaker, but I'm not actually a public speaker in that sense. I don't have my specs, so I can't see anybody. So that makes a better concentration to speak. So there are less distractions. No, it's wonderful what, just before I start, it's actually wonderful that this kind of a event is being organized, and it has been done so well by the Kashi Archan Foundation, and which is led by Harsh, as you know. It is through these kind of gathering of people, events, etc., that you end up spreading, rooting dharma more strongly, because this is the thing of the age. You walk according to the age. That is how this thing spreads, that's how this thing survives, and that's how it passes to the next generation. So thank you for doing this. Devata Anubhuti is the theme of our this gathering, this talk. And it is a very complicated thing in my opinion, because it is a subject which is so deep and so nuanced that it is very difficult to explain every aspect of it, because there is a gap in what is being spoken and what will be understood by people. However, whenever somebody enters into the path of sadhana, any sadhana of any deity, one of the key aims is that if you ask them, they say that we want an experience of the deity. Anubhuti is experience, right? But what is the nature of experience? What qualifies as an experience? Does it mean that you see the deity? The question is important as you do sadhana, as everybody I suppose is doing some kind of practice. Many of you might be doing practices related to Bhairav Baba specifically. Long back when I had started my own spiritual journey, there were many people I had met who used to have a lot of experiences. So they would say that, today I was doing this japa, so I saw this deity, then tomorrow I was doing that, there was Hanumanji, kal sapne mein ye aa gaya, wo aa gaya. It's wonderful. And they were not at all lying, they were saying with complete sincerity. I could see that. I knew these people. And for a second I used to think that, wonderful, it's terrific. Why am I not getting anything? That's the first question. Then 2-3 years later, the second question came that in these 3 years, इन्होंने तो पूरा 33 करोड़ देवता देख लिया, but there's not 1 inch of change that has happened in their other external behavior. फिर what exactly is going on? I know that these people are not lying, they're not making up, they are not even insane. वो तो अलग बात हो गया, if you're psychotic and all that, you can see stuff. नहीं, they're very normal people. They're actually experiencing things. There are deities. This is an anubhuti. This is exactly an anubhuti. But why is that anubhuti not translating into a change in the individual's consciousness? And it took me a lot of time to understand that. It was a question mark for years. Which, by the way, is also an answer that if you have a question, don't be in a hurry to get the answer, because you'll get a wrong answer. When the right time comes, you'll get an answer, which means that don't email me. So, because I get too many emails the same question, so that's why you wait at the right time, the answer comes. First clue to this came to me, and the question becomes more complicated, because if you think about it, I was being a Bengali, like any other Bengali, we all know of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Thakur Ramakrishna as we call him. So, gist of his story is that he comes to Dakshineshwar Kali temple, he has a vision of Ma Kali, and then after that he is transformed. He is a saint, full scale. Such a huge saint that even 100 years later people are putting up photos in the houses and doing pranam to him. And then there are people who have seen almost every deity that I know of, and there's been not 1 millimeter of change in their consciousness. So what exactly is going on? That is because not all seeing is the same. These things, when it comes to the question of experiencing a deity, your first experience will happen through the Pancha Indriyas only, which is you might see something, you might hear something. Even more powerful, you might actually smell something. Some deities, when they start appearing, some beings, not just deities, there will be a specific kind of an aura, a kind of sugandha, right, in the atmosphere. And to be able to distinguish that what is the nature of this reality, this being, because it is not only the deities, by the way, these experiences can be given to an individual upasaka, depending on his purva samskara and karmas and what type of practice he is doing, etc. By other entities also, between the sadhak, you, me, wherever we stand, and the deities, the gap is immensely huge. Every realm of reality has different types of existences, beings in these realms, and any one of them can bring about a flurry of experiences in an upasaka. Only thing that they cannot do, and the difference between a deity, a devata in the sense, when I say the word, I mean the primary gods that we consider, Shiva, Ma Durga, Kali, Vishnu, etc. These deities, and any of the beings that are there in the realms. And I'm not going into the details of it, These are, by the way, not necessarily negative beings. When I say beings, it does not mean something dark and negative. It's just that, say, if you see a Tantra Puja of Devi, or if you, those who have worshipped the Sri Chakra, you will know that every avarana has all various kinds of yoginis are there, beings are there, Bhairavas are there, etc., surrounding the Mula Devata. So these are the parivaras of the main deity. Any of the parivar devatas can also give you an experience, an anubhuti. What they cannot do is take your mind into a meditative state. Meditation, genuine meditation, is the one benchmark that separates at every stage between how deep an upasaka has actually reached. Nothing else is a foolproof mechanism. Not experiences, not intuition, not vision, not dream, nothing. All of these things can come because of a multitude of factors. Some could be from some entities, some beings, some could be from purva samskaras, the deities you might have worshipped, etc. But what changes between when an actual devata starts interacting with an upasaka, and that is a stage, do not aspire for it on day one. The important thing is that the reason why we do sadhana is so that we transform ourselves, so that we have the capacity to take that power. Because a deity's power is tremendous. A devata is a reality, by the way. You have to start believing that it's a reality, like you consider, like everybody else in this room is a reality, like your friend is a reality. That way it is a reality, but much more abiding, much more stronger, much more eternal compared to a human being. A human being has only what, 50, 60, 70, 80 years of life, then you are dead. A deity has infinite life from our perspective. They were there even before the first human came through evolution, and they will always be there if tomorrow, say by some miraculous event, all humanity vanishes. So deities are that longer in their existence, and the deities are also very abiding. That is a reality, stronger reality than the flesh and blood reality you see around. So they have the capacity to cause changes. Is there a problem here? It's fine? I'm trying to. Okay. So important thing is that as you keep doing sadhana, you will have experiences. Anubhuti is an important aspect, because obviously there's somewhere or the other the mind craves for an experience. But not all experiences are transformative experiences. It is important, therefore, and this is a very complicated topic, because while there are many shastras that will tell you, the texts that tell you details of how the ritualistic upasana of the deities have to be done, the stories of the lores, the divine stories of the deities, the devatas that cause a transformation, if you study them, there is very little literature that goes deep into the categorization and the analysis of the nature of divine experiences. And this is a very vast topic. Swami Vivekananda used to say that of all 100 people who start sadhana, almost 70 of them will leave halfway, and then of the 30, 27 will go mad, and perhaps 3 will reach, which is very fair assessment in my opinion. Because the 70 who leave halfway is because what happens is when you start the sadhana, your graph normally goes like this. You will have a flurry of experiences, many things will happen, whether it's material, spiritual, you will get more attracted towards it. And then, after a stage, the sadhana moves at a very flat line condition. It is here that the real test starts. Whether you are able to continue doing the sadhana, even if there is no experience happening, even if there is nothing happening, not even a leaf will move, but whether you have the ability to carry on day after day, day after day, year after year, year after year, year after year. This is a marathon. This is not a 100-meter race. Those who have that capacity, and that's why whenever I'm guiding somebody or whenever I have to advise somebody, There's the three things I keep saying: consistency, discipline, patience. If you have these three, you will succeed. If these are not there, it does not matter what range of experiences you have, how much intuitive ability you are born with, you will not have the stamina to go till the end. That's very simple. Because this Devata Sadhana, to reach a stage where you change your consciousness to be able to have a direct interaction with the deity in a transformed manner, or to put it in other words, to change yourself from the human condition into a state where you are not affected by the sorrows and miseries of life. Because that is the one question that has always affected all great siddhas, philosophers, this and that. The root of everything. How does suffering end? The moment you are born, you will have to suffer. The only way you escape suffering is if you transform yourself. And that transformation is very, very tough. In order to be able to do this transformation, we worship the gods. Because they are already in that state. They can help you in that. However, the problem is that they are not interested to help you unless you show commitment. And their commitment is very different from the human sense of commitment. So that is why the general dictum that used to be said that 12 years of unbroken sadhana has to be there. Then the deity sees that, okay, this fellow is serious about what is he doing. And therefore they will start, then their parivaras, etc. will start taking notice and start, range of things. So, when it comes to experiences, the defining experience is depth in meditation. Remember this always. Dreams, intuition, flashes, visions, all these are wonderful, but they are not a guarantee of progress. They are not a guarantee even, in some cases, that it is an experience that is coming due to the Devata. There are many factors that can cause these things. In olden times, there used to be the idea was that you stay with the Guru and the Guru guides you step by step. And this age, that is hardly there. Even if you have a Guru, it's very likely that you will not be staying in the house of the Guru. So he or she may not know what you are doing on a day-to-day basis. So that is why, and precisely this reason, when I started, when I asked people to do Om Bhairavaya Namah Japa, which is a very, very simple format, the idea was that it should be something that is easy to do and that has the least amount of risk. I had no idea at the time that a lot of people will be, actually doing this. It was more like among a very closed group of people. I had first introduced the idea, and then within a year, as in the last Ashtami Tithi, the total number of japa crossed, it went more than 1 crore, which is wonderful. I mean, I take that as a sign that it is Bhairava's will that has caused it. It's not my doing. But I have not even put any effort into it. And when people used to say that, people who are some of the people whom I guide, that we should do more about spreading this. So I am a very laid back, chill kind of individual. So apne aap se hoga, nahi hoga to nahi hoga. It's all right. It's not my responsibility. I don't own this. So if I don't own this, if it doesn't work, that's also fine. However, this saves you from certain kind of, if you attach yourself too strongly to that I have to get XYZ result, etc. If it happens or it does not happen, you are not able to transmit the blessings of the deity or the channel the will of the deity properly. And that comes at a time when one goes to a little deeper into the sadhana. Anyway, when it comes to Anubhutis, one of the things that happens specifically, now let's come to Bhairava Upasana. One of the things that happens is as you go deeper into the sadhana, your very interestingly, when you go deeper into the sadhana, you will see that your this 5 indriyas will become sharper. That's one of the very typical experiences that happen to people. Sharper means your sense of smell, your sense of hearing, etc. will start getting sharper, which means your consciousness will become very subtle. So you can suddenly hear things, or sometimes, very subtle sounds. And that is the time when, because most of you would not be having a physical guru, it is very important to have an axis in meditation. But also check that is the meditation actually going deeper. If it is going deeper along with it, then you are on the right track. Then this is definitely a very positive experience and will take you to higher states of sadhana. Eventually, as the experiences go deeper, for example, as we were discussing, you will realize the iconography of the deity holds the key to the experiences that an upasaka will have. And that's a very, very deep idea, because these iconographies were not randomly selected. So, Bhairav Baba, he holds the khappar in his hand. As you keep doing sadhana year after, and don't expect this to happen in one day, and this is not a matter of imagination also. So don't start imagining this. This comes as a realization at a certain stage, after years. Don't be in a hurry. Consistency, discipline, patience, three things. Whoever has that, genuinely has that, is going to succeed. Whoever does not have any of the three parameters will fall off the track one day or the other. As one goes deeper into Bhairava Upasana, you will realize that the khappar that he actually holds is your skull. It's not anything else. It's you, your head he is holding in his hand. And when he actually, we hear that story when Bhairava actually decapitated Brahma, that will relate to your life. He is going to decapitate the mind that runs around here and there, that thinks that it has created its own universe. So this is me, this is my family, this is my office, this is my spouse, this is my children, this is my clothes, this is my identity. I go on the road, somebody says this, I feel happy, somebody says that, I feel sad. That is the Brahma that you have created in your own head. One day Bhairava comes, decapitates that Brahma. With that skull he puts it. Your mind that runs around will stop. Absolutely stop. And when the mind stops, it's like this, imagine this lake, beautiful, powerful lake. And this is a metaphor that has been used many times in spirituality by many great acharyas and siddhas. I'm just copying from them, but this is the best example that I found. So there's this lake which is very disturbed. It's constant water ripples everywhere. You can't make out anything. That's the mind. The moment Bhairava cuts off the mind, everything becomes still. And the moment it becomes still, there's nothing you can see, as if the water does not exist. Deep inside the pond, then you see something else exists which does not change easily. That is then the start of genuine spiritual progress. That is the anubhuti that one seeks eventually. And that is the only experience among thousands of experiences that can change any average human being into an absolutely divine condition. That one experience is why masters like Buddha would sit for 50 days in meditation, or whoever it is, etc. That point, and that Bhairava gives the day he decides that he's going to show you that it is your skull, your mind that he holds. He grips you. It is not your buddhi that is running yourself. Once that comes, then you realize that state, the term that is used in the Bhagavad Gita, nimittamatra. And it is not a statement of, false humility. False humility is far worse than being actually officially arrogant, if you ask me. But it is not a matter of false humility. You actually realize that what is nimittamatra. You have done nothing about it. Everything is controlled by a higher force. It is getting things done. If it succeeds, good. If it does not succeed, that is also good. Neither was it your responsibility when it succeeded, so you don't deserve the praise. Neither is it your responsibility if it failed. But what you did was that what you have to do is that you do it with the greatest possible dedication, and that brings about a terrific joy inside that opens up. Once you disassociate your mind from getting attached to the things that you're doing, that itself is a sadhana. Nature suddenly opens up things that you could not imagine were possible. Long, vast distances. It's vistas of things you normally can never imagine will be shown to you. But only condition is that you stop attaching yourself to what you're doing. That itself is the state which comes as one keeps doing Bhairava sadhana eventually. So that is the kind of anubhutis that people, those who succeed, and many will, because obviously it is somewhere the will of Bhairava that so many are suddenly chanting this mantra of his. It's very simple nama mantra, nothing complicated. And the idea was that Bhairava sadhana has many aspects. There are hardcore sadhanas that happen in cremation grounds. No one is asking you to do that. Simple one that you can sit at home and do, and relate to eventually the tattva of Para Bhairava. Para Bhairava is the one consciousness that has both Shiva Tattva and Shakti Tattva inside, which is in the 36 Tattva scheme, which is the highest. Everything is inside him. Everything. Positive, negative, everything. It is a form of Advaitam, but it is not the Vedantic Advaitam. It is the Devata Advaitam. It is, you might call it the Shaiva Advaitam, where everything is Shiva, where everything is Bhairava. So that state, that Tattva can eventually come, and I believe will come to many people, because there are so many doing this sadhanas. So I hope that you have a gist, because this is a very difficult and complicated topic. you get a gist of the idea of what Devata Anubhuti, or what is the right type of Anubhuti that you should look forward to as an Upasaka, that is going to help you grow and help you go ahead and help you transform into whatever it is that you are meant to transform into. Jai Bhairav Baba.
Thank you, sir. Really, words flow from your mouth like the Ganges water flows in Varanasi. Aviral Nirmal. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom and blessing to all of us. My first question to you would be, sir, now that we see the scale of Bhairav Naam Jap increasing day by day, I deliberately use the word astronomically increasing, because 1 crore, sir, is the count that we are having, but personally also I know many people who have done lakhs of japas from the time they have started. They are not part of the initial counting. They are doing it in their own solace. They are doing it in their own comfort. And there are many such people. So the quantum of japas that we are seeing, sir, and it is increasing day by day. Where do you see, sir, this going ahead? You very rightly and very beautifully mentioned that this is not owned by you. But, sir, without guiding anyone, you have guided so many. Without initiating anyone, you have initiated so many. So now that you see this beautiful process has come to this stage, it has become in a way a revolution where millions and millions are doing these japas. Almost everyone, I'm sure, in the neighborhood or in the second house is doing this japa today, or some part of Bhagwan Kaal Bhairav. Where do you see, sir, this going ahead? And of course, it is Devata's will that it is increasing at this pace and it is catching the influence of so many people and so many minds. Apart from it, sir, why? Because the Naam Jap is very simple, as you mentioned. What is the inherent essence of this Naam Japa that is catching people's mind and is spreading like a pandemic now? And where do you see, sir, going this ahead in today's time?
Hello. Everybody is able to hear me? Yeah. So the first thing is that first effect of the Bhairava Tattva that comes to any individual who does japa of this mantra is that it brings a sense of steadiness and fearlessness. So in Tantra or any Upasana Paddhati, two important aspects to any sadhana or an Upasaka. The first thing is the Adhara Shakti. Adhara is your mind and body. So basically, do you have the capacity to take the Shakti of the deities? That's very simple. First, basic question. So unless your mind and body has the capacity, you simply can't take it. Even if a deity were to genuinely appear in their own full force and power and try to transform you, it is most likely to cause a nervous breakdown in the Upasaka unless the Adhara is very strong. And that is the difference between coming to that what I was talking. There are hundreds of people who see various deities and yet nothing happens. That is because the deity doesn't come in their full swarupa. Some of it is mental projection, some of it is a very Purvajanma's thing and all that. But the real transformative effect of a deity comes when he or she comes in his actual power and strength and glory. Then you transform. Either you will transform or you will be shocked like you have never been shocked. Very bluntly putting it. I had this experience once, long back, years ago, when I first did my 40-day an Anushtan of Bhairav Baba. Very simply, I had no idea what an Anushtan is, just like that I did it. Right after a complete few days, I had an experience, and that was, for lack of better words, that was sort of scary. So, but then there was this, this thing in the head that says that, no, let's try once again and see. So that's how eventually today I'm here. So from that experience. But the point is, that first experience, if your mind is, the mind and the Adhara is not steady, it causes a disbalance. Bhairava's first thing that he does is that to steady the mind and body of the Upasaka. This will reflect in, if you carry on for anybody carries on for some time, it will bring about, how do you put it, a strength, an inner strength, a lack of fear. Lack of fear has to be qualified here. There are many deities in our system of upasana paddhatis who give protection. For example, Hanumanji is very famous for giving protection. Ma Durga will give you protection, Kali will give you protection, Lord Narasimha will give you protection. But there's a difference in the way Bhairava gives you protection. He gives you protection by actually throwing you into the fire, so that the thing that you are scared of, you're not scared of anymore. Once you get into it and you see what exactly this is, so it suddenly steadies you. That is his method. Other deities will stop the problem right at the beginning, but that's what it is. You will not necessarily change. That is why you will change in a different sense. I will not go into that aspect. It will divert the conversation. But basically, Bhairava creates that sense of strength, first of all, and number two, that steadiness in the mind. And at a surrounding or environmental level, the amount of japa as it increases, I believe that the japa should ideally, for a country like India, when I started off, when somebody had asked me, I said that we should have 8 crores japa every Ashtami. 8 crores. Because the volume of japa should be consummate to the volume of the number of people who stay in this land. So everything is proportionate. Whole world works on proportions. So sometimes I see that, somebody taking a sankalpa just like that. Say I decide that I want to take a sankalpa for saving the world. Very ambitious project. Do I have the capacity for it? Do I even know how many people are there in the world? So there, if you have to have a realistic idea, say India has this amount of population at this time, around 8 crore japa of Bhairava, if it happens on Ashtami Tithis, and I believe by Baba's will it will come eventually, as it has reached 1 crore in 1 year actually, with very less effort, and then this continues for a year or more, this is going to cause an upsurge not only of people getting more attracted to sadhana, but also a lot of dharmic changes automatically will happen. Cleansing will happen in this land. Very strangely, the mantras are always linked internally and externally. So whenever you chant the Bhairava mantras and all that, it is going to cause an effect in the environment around. It will cleanse things, start cleansing, which is perhaps a thing we really need in this land. So that is the first impact, and the larger impact is that there will be an upsurge in Shakti Upasana. Bhairava Upasana is never without Shakti Upasana, or he will bring it, the right form, the right content, in his own time. That's how I see it.
Sir, a question which may be helpful to all those who have come here or will come in future, or to all those who will be listening later on. So a lot of people are curious in knowing. A lot of people, sir, are curious in knowing that when they are going to a shrine of Bhairava, when they are going to the temple of Bhairava, what should be the right approach, right instinct, right mindset, if at all offerings that should be carried during the course when you go to have his darshan. Unfortunately, Bhagwan has been portrayed in many negative ways also. There is a paddhati of offering alcohol and tamasic offerings during the course of certain anusthans and pujas. But for someone who is into this path of sadhana, someone who is into this path of spirituality, how should he go to approach his devata in Sakara Swarup when he's going to a temple? And if at all I can narrow down the question, how should one go when he's coming to the Kashi Kaal Bhairav temple?
I have to hold the mic? Okay. I thought this will work. Okay. So, first thing is that you ask yourself, and that goes for all temples, are you visiting like a tourist or are you visiting like an upasaka? So, if you are visiting like a tourist, you can go anytime, any day, anywhere. Nobody is stopping you. Free country. If you are visiting like an upasaka, you have to first understand that why you want to visit the temple, what is the significance of the deity, and what upasana of the deity have you done. So, in my opinion, as I tell people, that if you are doing Bhairav Upasana, try to visit specifically the Kashi Kaal Bhairav. He is magnanimous. There is no words. I can speak whole day, 24 hours. If I speak even then, it will not capture the full vastness and depth of the deity who is inside that, whose iconic form is inside the Kashi Kaal Bhairav temple. Immense, immense. So, 5 months, 6 months, or whatever period of time, whatever sadhana you are doing of Bhairav Baba, and then take a few days and come and visit the temple. And when you visit the temple, not only visit, most important thing is, apart from visiting, stay there say in Kashi, the whole of Kashi is Baba's land. If you look at it that way, it's not only the Kaal Bhairav temple, whole of Kashi. Everywhere his presence is there, Ghats his presence is there, anywhere. So you stay here for say 3 days at least, and you do the same sadhana that you are doing at home. Don't just visit like a tourist. You sit here, you do the mantra japas. If you want, keep some, the easiest offering that you can do is 1 coconut and 1 vastra, 1 dhoti. That's it. If you don't want to go more complicated sadhanas, complicated processes. Just that, keep in front of you, sit and do your japa, whatever japa you do normally, and then you go to the temple and offer it. And remember, if you do it in this sense, when you visit a temple with this kind of a mindset, from the moment the thought comes into your head, ki now I will go to the temple, your sadhana has started. The visit itself is a sadhana. How you visit, what happens there, what reactions happen naturally, that will tell you everything. If your mind and the discrimination capacity is opened up by the anugraha of the Devata and the Gurus, then you will know ki how my sadhana is going, if there is something that needs to be changed, what is the mood of the deity. And that's a very interesting topic, by the way. What is the mood of the deity on that particular day towards you? What blessing he can give you, what he cannot give you. This idea of the mood of the Devata, by the way, also comes to us in some of the tantras, which from where it's translated into a large part of North India and other places, where we see where is Lord Shiva sitting on that particular day and tithi, based on which Kamya Prayogs and Kamya Sadhanas are done. If he's in the cremation ground on one particular, there's a calculation behind it. Then if you ask him for gold or for a job, it's unlikely to happen because he's not in the mood for it. He's in a different mood. So these type of things are there, but not going into the complexity. First thing is that if you have to offer, do your sadhana. Offering to secondary hai. First is do your sadhana. Then you visit with the right kind of attitude in the mind, right shraddha. Dhoti is a very good thing to give. Coconut is a very good thing to give. And if the temple has the custom of offering, sanctified alcohol, which is in the tantras mention it as karan, specifically, by the way, because there's an amritikaran of it that is to be done, technically when it is done. So it changes the tattva of it from being something that can cause dangers to the human system into something that is a divine offering. So that if there's a system in place, you can easily go and offer that. It does not mean whether you partake of it or not is irrelevant. Remember that when you are doing the Devata Upasana, it is what the deity likes that you have to give. It is not what you like. ये बहुत important चीज़ है. I know great Bhairava Upasakas, absolutely sattvic in their lifestyle, but they have no qualms in offering alcohol to Bhairava as and when needed. And they do it not randomly. I've sat in their puja, suddenly they'll say that Ravi Baba needs this, so they will get that. They, at a very high state, they can transform water into alcohol. That also I've seen. Very high state. That's not, don't even think about it. वो नहीं होने वाला है. वो rarest of the rare. But it's possible by His grace. He tells you how to transmute the most sattvic, simplest thing into something that is tamasic and then change it back into again sattvic. He can do all that. So your point is that you follow the paddhati, follow what is set by the tradition, by the gurus, by the acharyas, by the system. So you know that this road works. Don't try anything innovation. And if you are, if you are not keen on offering alcohol, no problem. You give a dhoti, you give a coconut, etc. However, one thing is to be remembered that when you are asking for something, that is if you are going nishkama, then if you offer anything, that is also fine. But if you have some desire in your mind, then these rules will not work that way. You have to decide ki kya kaun sa cheez is appropriate to give to the deity so that he gives you whatever, jo bhi aapka, whatever the mind wants.